talents, and I believe we have them on the phone. Mack, who will we be talking to?
Well, we're delighted that they're with us this morning, and we're happy to introduce Adassa as well as Alex Melecio, who are with us in Mexico City and just were terrific.
Adassa and Alex, welcome to KSL. Welcome to our movie show today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
What a pleasure to have. I've heard such great things about you from this concert, but also in your performing lives and the different avenues that you have exercised your talents in. It's really quite remarkable to hear of the things that you've been engaged in. And for Adassa, both Steve and I, Steve is my great friend and co-host of the movie show here. We absolutely loved Enchanted, and I have to tell you, Adassa, that's one of the things that many of us who have worked in radio or, like to think that we have a little voice talent here and there. I just so envy anybody who's ever been a voice in a Disney movie, and you did it.
The movie's Encanto, Doug, and I was telling Adassa in Mexico that my grandson sings that entire movie every day. So he's only 5 years old, and he loves the movie.
Yeah.
And so when he heard that Adassa was with us, he just couldn't believe it.
Well, let's talk about how that came about. You're being in a movie like that because, as I mentioned, Steve and I both loved Encanto.
Thank you so much, Doug. Well, it was such a surprise. I had all of my year tour set up, and then all of a sudden we get this phone call, and Christopher Meek, which is there in Salt Lake City, said, hey, we got a call, and I couldn't believe it. I was so excited, and coordinating it was quite a thing, but we made it happen. My husband, Gabriel Candiani, was able to be with me, and, celebrating the heritage of Mexico through music, and being able to share with the Tabernacle Choir. They sang some incredible international pieces, and just being there and meeting those people who have just been waiting for over 50 years to hear the choir live again. And there was over 200,000 people who watched live online on top of the 20,000 that came out to see us both nights. So I'm just so delighted that I was able to be there and witness such a miracle happen.
Alex, I so appreciate you joining us as well. And, I was reading up a little bit on you, and I'm so looking forward to hearing your talents here in Utah. But finalist in the I Have Talent, a lot of talent. And then also you have been a songwriter and are so well known. Let's talk a little bit about your career, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, everybody, for having me on as well. Yes, it's been a long journey. In the last 15 years, it's really when I've taken off or done a lot more in songwriting, performing, voiceover, anything voice related. I've dabbled or done. And to Adassa's point, Doug, and everybody there, and all listeners, Mexico City this last weekend was absolutely a highlight in my career, in my life. My wife was also able to be there. Same with my daughter, who flew in with her grandma to watch the shows. It was something very difficult to describe. The energy that was there, the eagerness of the people to participate, to connect, to dance, to sing. It was like anything I've seen thus far, and I really can't wait for what's coming here in the next month.
I was going to ask both of you about that. It's always intriguing to find out when you discover that you are going to be, or have worked to, or been asked and invited to be a soloist and to be a highlight of a Tabernacle Choir concert or broadcast, whatever it might be. How big a deal is that for you? And I'll ask that of both Adassa and especially being here in Utah for a huge event in our state, the celebration of the Pioneers' arrival in the Salt Lake Valley back in 1847. Adassa, for you, what are you anticipating, and what are some of your thoughts in performing with this great choir?
Well, for starters, I mean, after being able to share the stage with wonderful artists from around the world like Pitbull, Daddy Yankee, Snoop Dogg, and playing on stages from the Madison Square Garden to the Hollywood Bowl, I was shaking in my shoes when I had to step out with the choir because they're just majestic. I mean, it's like hearing angels. And now being able to be at Salt Lake City, singing this wonderful event for Pioneer Day, remembering those who came ahead of us, to be able to bring faith and be able to give us the opportunities to share our faith and be able to do that all over the world is a gift that we get to give back. And when you step onto that stage, between the musicality and the beautiful singing that you hear behind you, it's like, you have to live it in person if you haven't had an opportunity. For me, it was my first time, and honestly, it's just such an amazing experience, and I wish everybody to come out and enjoy it with us. And you never know. I think you have a voice for some voiceover work. Maybe we should talk when we're in Salt Lake.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. Now, I do have one big question, because in a resume, I mean, when you've got Pitbull and you've got, Daddy Yankee and probably most important, Snoop Dogg, where is the choir going to fit into that resume, before or after Snoop Dogg?
Oh, my goodness. It goes on that top spot. Are you kidding me? I mean, the people I got to meet, it's undescribable. I think I've had the treat to do it. I hope one of them get to do it as well, maybe.
Alec, you also mentioned just, how exciting it was and what a thrill it was to perform with the choir. But maybe you could elaborate a little of that and coming up here to Utah and performing with that great choir here, kind of at the epicenter of the choir's world.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to go. I can't compete with Adassa in naming my collaborations. I'm not going to embarrass myself there. But I am beyond excited and thrilled. I grew up around, listening to the choir. I've known how amazing the choir and the reach and the purpose and the mission of the choir has been since I was very little. And being from Mexico, I think I have a distinct flavor and appreciation for the impact that the choir has when they do events outside of Utah, outside of the U.S. It's truly something that people look forward to, and it was amazing again. But coming to Utah, which I live in Utah, and performing here where it all originated, where the choir practices and rehearses and performs regularly, it's truly, honestly, for me, a dream come true. I'm a big fan of the choir and everything the choir does, and so it's definitely at the top of my list in terms of opportunities, performances, and I can't wait to bring some of that energy to Utah, to Salt Lake City, as we saw in Mexico. And I know people who attend are going to really, really be in for a treat and leave very glad that they attended. It'll be a fun show.
It is so kind of both of you to join us.
I got to say, joining Alex on stage, he is amazing with just the crowd and people. He's so great. And also watching Mack in person, because I haven't had the pleasure of seeing it in person. I just wanted him to raise that hand. There was this little 6-year-old boy, I think he was like 6 or 8. He came in his little suit, and he was just doing every move right along with Mack. And so to be with Mack and be taken so well, I mean, Ron had such great care with us. And Ryan, we got to speak a little behind the scenes as well. So it's just wonderful. You guys have to come out. You're going to leave inspired to be able to continue your own personal missions. If it's taking care of your kids or working a 9-to-5, trust me, every smile counts for somebody else's spirit to be uplifted, and you will leave there knowing that you felt something different than just another day in your own world.
I can't thank you both enough for joining us here on the radio today, but also, sharing your great talents with us. And I so look forward to the concert that's coming up on the 14th and the 15th. So, Adassa, thank you so much for joining us. And Alex, Melecio, thank you for being part of our radio program today. And we'll look forward to seeing you on stage.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a joy for us to have you here.
They seem pretty excited.
Boy, I'll tell you, you hear all kinds of things in the conversation there, but just imagine standing there on the stage and having those voices behind you, having Mack conducting and all of the things that go along with that. I mean, it has to be. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your status in the performing world is. That has to be a highlight for just about anybody in the known universe. There was a term that was used several times by both of our artists here, and the term was mission. The mission of the choir, what your personal mission in life is, to raise a family, whatever it might be, how the music of the choir lifts us and inspires us. That's a big part of the deal for the Tabernacle Choir, Mack,
It is, and in fact, the theme of our concert in Mexico City was hope.
Yeah. Rounding up this kind of talent, you've talked to us a lot on the air over the years, Ron, and I've even seen a fireside that you have done, kind of giving a little backstory. I don't know how you round these folks up, how you first of all discover them, because some of them, honestly, I remember the first time that I was told about Sissel. I'd never heard of Sissel. And then when I was reminded of her talent and what she had, I went, oh, of course I've heard her a lot, but I was not, where? And some of them are just iconic names from around the world. How do you come up with these?
It's just a collaboration of minds, and with Mack, Wilberg, and David Warner, myself, and others, we seriously look at the program and the story and the songs, and we try to look at who would best suit those shows, and then we go. And we try to find them. Yeah. And it's been, I think, miracle after miracle, year after year, that we've been able to be so blessed with so many incredible, talented artists.
I'm feeling that I'm slipping here, Matt, because I haven't tried to weasel out of anybody, including your artists. I usually prey on them, thinking they're the most vulnerable on what some of the content will be. Maybe you could just describe the spirit of what you're hoping for during our, and of course, if you want to slip any songs or any particular things, that, we will not censor that. So what is coming up on the 14th and 15th?
Well, as I said, most of the program will really be from the concerts that we presented in Mexico City, and as we always say, there'll be something for everyone. Yeah. And we'll be doing a few of our selections in Spanish. We worked very hard to be able to sing in the language that with those with whom we were performing, but much of it will be in English. Right. And if you haven't been at a choir concert for a while, there'll be a few surprises.
Oh, that sounds great. There always are surprises, no doubt about it. Let's walk through the must-knows so people can hopefully see the concert, have a good shot at getting tickets. How does that work, Ron?
So, Doug, we're blessed along the Wasatch Front to have an ever-growing diverse population, and we invite everyone to come and enjoy the colorful musical program that we're going to put forth. Tickets are available now online at tabchoir.org. There is an article on the homepage about the summer concert specifically, and you can take a look at that to find out more about tickets. Or under events on the website, you can click on Summer Concert 2023 for tickets. Mm-hmm. Given the anticipation surrounding this event, Doug, we encourage people to secure their tickets as soon as possible. There is a limit of 4 tickets per account or email address.
Let's talk about the capacity. Are we going full tilt capacity?
We're not quite there yet, but we're at 18,000, so it's pretty good. We're very close to our 21,000 capacity, but we've been given approval to raise it to 18.
These are still some of the remnants of what we went through with the pandemic, and I so enjoyed the Christmas concert. I always do, but this year, to kind of be back, and but even then, I looked around at those seats and I thought, oh gosh, how many people could have been here back in the day, and we're getting back to that now. So that's only 3,000 seats. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I can't thank you both enough, not only for being here today, but over the years. This has been just such a great part of my broadcast career and things that I look back on so fondly. the announcements that we've done, the fun that we have had in making the announcements for Christmas and for the Pioneer Days every year. And I just consider you dear, dear friends, and I just can't thank you enough.
Well, we wanted to be here, Doug, like I mentioned. We